need to talk about Pretti because I've had a little bit of time to dissect it, and I've read a lot of comments on both sides, I guess, which is astounding to me that there could even be a side. But bootlicker's gonna bootlick, I guess, and it's kind of unbelievable that anybody could defend the actions of ICE, and it's a shame, man. It's a shame that you know the bootlickers. It's probably a good 30% of the population. A third of people are just bootlickers, right? A fourth maybe. And it seems to be about that online. There seems to be about 20, 25, maybe 30% of people just bootlicking to the end, right? And I don't see how you could for this one. I don't see how you could even begin to spin what was clearly an execution, right? I mean, let's not kid ourselves at all. That man, first of all, licensed, and you shouldn't even need a license, okay? But he was licensed to carry a firearm. He never brandished the firearm. He never threatened to use it. He never attempted to use it. He never even touched his firearm. And ICE executed him in the street because he tried to pick a woman who had been thrown to the ground. He tried to pick her up, right? He tried to assist her in helping her up, like any gentleman would do, right? Any human being, I would think, who just witnessed a small female get shoved to the ground, right, would try to help that person up. And that's what Mr. Pretti did, and as a result of that, he was immediately pepper sprayed in the face and then viciously thrown to the ground and smothered, right, by, I think it was 8 grown men. And then his legal firearm was removed from his waistband by one of the ICE agents, and then he was executed. He was executed in cold blood by the federal government, by federal law enforcement, right? And I'm all for deporting illegal aliens. I'm all for deporting criminals. I'm all for a lot of stuff, right? But I'm not for this warrantless execution of American citizens, right? Now, we could talk about the Renee Good situation, right? Renee, who was made good by ICE, and we can, I can see some plausibility, not good plausibility, but I can see an argument, right, where she shouldn't have tried to run him over, and she struck him and he shot her. I don't think that, personally, I don't think that deserves a death sentence, right? But that situation, I guess there was some ambiguousness to it, right? Like there's something to debate, right? I guess, right? But this shit right here, there's no debate. Alex was murdered in cold blood by ICE, and that's just the simple fact of the matter. He was of no threat to anybody, at any point in time during the entirety of the encounter, and before you could blink, he's dead, right? He's dead and shot numerous times. I think I read up to 9 times. I mean, that's just not the country I remember being promised, right? So I don't believe in this case, I don't believe that there's any other explanation for what occurred other than just cold-blooded execution, murder, basically, and what appeared to be premeditated. Because I mean, I just you guys, we can try to. I know some people are going to argue. They're going to say, "Oh well, incompetence or poor training or what have you, rogue officer." But no, this is a continuing escalation, and for Kristi Noem to try to spin this right as anything other than what it clearly was, which was a cold-blooded murder and execution of an American citizen, someone who is a registered nurse, ICU nurse at VA. And it's just not a good look. Let me just put it that way. Not a good look for our boys in blue, for ICE, right? For law enforcement in general. Because what I've found more often than not is that any encounter with the legal system, or the justice system rather, it's detrimental to one's health and one's life. So I've never actually seen a situation personally in my life, right, where an encounter with the police bettered the situation in any way, shape, or form. I believe that the police can, for the most part, only fuck things up and make them worse. The city of Wayne can turn bonfires into death sentences. And then, as you can see, ICE can turn filming into a execution, right? So we can try to pussyfoot around it all we want, guys, but at the end of the day, your freedoms are being just pillaged away from you in real time, and there's no excusing this one. There is no excusing this one. Not to say that there haven't been other unjustified acts by the police and ICE and law enforcement, because there certainly has been. But this is the one that's undeniable. This is the one where it's truly black and white. And it's just like my case, right? Trying to enforce laws that don't exist, right? And then locking in a cage indefinitely for months because of it. That's at the low end of the extreme, and at the high end of the extreme, it's execution for filming police, right? So filming police, helping a small woman up off the ground after she just got viciously thrown to the ground by a grown-ass man, multiple grown-ass men, mind you. That person just simply sticking out his hand and trying to help that person up, he gets executed for it. So immediate escalation of force, where he was immediately pepper sprayed, and then, just a vicious beating execution, unbecoming of what America is supposed to be, right? We're supposed to be a civilized nation, and that was some very barbaric shit. Stuff that you don't even see really in Espanola. You don't even see that stuff in the Dominican Republic. You don't even see shit like that in a lot of parts of South America. Police and government would not dare act like that. And definitely not something that you would associate with modern day America, right? Most people wouldn't. So I think that one's gonna hurt. That one's gonna hurt, and that one's gonna leave a mark. So rest in peace to Alex Pretti for taking care of our soldiers, taking care of our military veterans, and yeah, that's just it's sick shit, man. I mean, that's someone who cares for veterans, right? And to see that, I mean, that's just, it's hard to comprehend, it's hard to swallow, but people need to, because people need to see the police for what they really are in a lot of cases, which is unjustifiable, tyrannical executioners, right? In some cases, where they just decide that, you know, they're saying stop resisting, but really what they really mean is stop existing, right? And there couldn't be a more clear-cut example of police brutality, police misconduct, and a clear example that, you know, our constitutional rights, our civil liberties, but I'm just going to say constitutional rights because that encompasses everything. They're under attack, guys, and they're under attack locally, like in the city of Wayne, Michigan, where they, again, try to enforce laws that don't even exist, and then put you in, you know, a dungeon for it, you know, indefinitely. Deny you access to a speedy trial, deny you discovery for 6-7 months, still don't even have discovery, matter of fact. That's at the local level, but at the federal level, you know, you can see just, you know, ICE agents showing up, no body cam, just executing you in cold blood, you know. And yeah, it shouldn't have had to have happened, but it was necessary, because, you know, there's usually sometimes something ambiguous about the event, you know. There's some technical gray area where you can say, well, he technically, no, not this though. No, this was cold-blooded murder, and anyone who thinks otherwise, fuck you. And deporting illegal aliens, right, is one thing, but murdering VA ICU nurses, right? That's despicable. It's despicable. So you can be pro deportation of illegal aliens, right? But you can also call a spade and say, well, that was clearly an execution, and clearly law enforcement went too far, and the federal government's going too far by trying to, you know, spin or paint a picture, right? They're trying to spin it as if this guy was a threat to anybody, and that's deplorable, man. Really, it is. But I've been saying it for years, man. America is a shithole country, and this two-party system's got to go, and, you know, the status quo's got to go, and this archaic, oh, we're going to vote our way out of this shit. Like, no, there is no voting your way out of this shit. Maybe there is at a local level. Maybe. But I definitely can't think of how you're going to vote your way out of this shit. Clearly the results haven't worked. Because no matter who gets in power, right, no matter who wins the most votes, you're still, you know, beholden to this apparatus, right? This power apparatus, this power structure. So it's just not working, guys. And don't have rights. So what are we not preparing for a revolution for at this point? I mean, The revolution's coming, whether you guys want it to or not. The revolution's coming, and that's because revolutions have always occurred in this country's history, and I think that was the beginning of the next one. So this case is going to completely tear our country apart, which, like I said, there shouldn't really be any debate, right? The ICE officers should all be arrested and charged with murder, and the death penalty should be on the table for that. So that's my opinion. You know, I'm tired of seeing rogue pigs and chumpzillas, you know, being able to execute and just destroy people on a whim, right? On a capricious whim. So shouldn't be controversial to say that. Justice needs to be served to these piggies. What they are, a bunch of piggies. So hope the video's been informative. I will talk to you next time.